أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه. The sign is called a pentacle and is used by sorcerers, wizards. The figurine inside the star represents the person targeted by this witchcraft. This is a ruqya by exorcism performed in 2014 for a 45-year-old woman with two daughters, J, 16 years, and P, 13 years old. Her husband and his brother got in debt in order to start a business located in Congo, where he is stranded because his passport cannot be found at the ministry from the interior of the Congo, which was granted him a business class residence visa. Her symptoms are as follows: miscarriage for about 10 years, almost daily pain in her left ovary and lower back, very angry, especially with her husband, very tired after a day's work, laziness, and lethargy. Two very significant nightmares where she sees herself fighting with someone invisible who tries to take her wedding ring off her, and the next day she realizes that her ring has been cut in the middle. In the second nightmare, there are three cats that wanted to attack her, but only one of them jumped on her chest and entered. Ruqya, this woman, whose initials are SOM, I put a glass ball placed on the left side of SOM's belly on the ovary region, and after 40 minutes of reading the Quran, she began to moan. Her feet went up, her hands tense, her breathing is very deep, and her stomach heaves from time to time, and tears fall. I wrote, tried Baron, if Jinn will answer me, what is your name? Some answer. I said, no, don't answer me, please, Esom. Leave the answer coming by itself. If there's a genie there, it means spirit, bad or good, Ruqya will last a long time. Resumption of Ruqya, and after 15 minutes, the same signs reappeared. I tried to direct the direct method, which consists of apostrophizing the alleged jinn, because I don't know, the alleged jinn, while some having closing her eyes, while concentrated on her nightmare relating to the ring. I held the patients by her temples and I read the Quran internally. SOM started moaning. I asked several questions. What's your name? Are you Muslim? Were you forced to come? What do you want? No answers. I insist by saying, if you don't want to talk, or you are scared while answering my questions verbally, then you can tell us yes or not by nodding your head, yes from bottom to top, no from the left to right. If the genie speak, his master will know it, and he will punish him atrociously, or he will kill him. Are you from Somalia? The jinn nods with his head, and he shows with his hand the chest of SOM to mark question, where are you in this body? Through the answer yes and no, it turns out that the jinn entered SOM when she was 13 years old, and this without being sent by someone. Some told me a story which took place at this age and which might suppose that the fact that the jinn lied about the reason of his presence. The jinn all the time they lie. The jinn seemed distraught and frightened. He wanted to leave. The jinn wanted to leave and then answer him, okay? If you come back, I will burn you. I kick him in the back. Go! And he came out with a loud cough. SOM opened her eyes and wondered what happened to her. She does not remember anything. The story of the age of 13 is that a family in Somalia has proposed to her grandfather, who left the decision to SOM to refuse because the suitor was too old, which triggered animosity from the family of the gentleman suitor. I guess she was punished by his family by sending her a jinn and maybe also witchcraft. During the ruqya, reading the Quran, SOM felt air coming out of her several times within through the two orifices at the bottom, and the heat went down to her from the legs to the feet. She spat a few times. This would be signs of coming out of the jinn and sorceries. In the end, she no longer felt the pain in her ovary and back. During the ruqya, her daughter, who had previously closed her eyes, had a vision of a sun and a body of water. Her sister P also had a vision of a sun and a sandy desert, which is very, very odd. It's a coincidence. I met the ruqya, the evil eye, to SOM and her daughter G. See YouTube, Muhammad Shekar. Evil eye is very good, especially for the parents who have children. The lower back is gone. Her chest is no longer congested. Her nightmares have ceased. Resumption of the ruqya, beginning with supplication, with provoked tears, cries, for about 30 minutes. She can't or will not answer me. Crying and vomiting. I called the jinn, but no response. No reaction to the flame. She wakes up and complains of a strong stomach ache and a strangulation on the throat. I persist in reading the Quran for an hour and a half without reaction appear from her. Her descending and going out through her feet, which denote the existence of jinn or sorcerers. After this ruqya, she felt good. She called me after that. She called me for. The situation is as follows. For 7 months, everything was back to normal. Then some symptoms reappeared. Laziness, pain in the left ovary during her periods, pain in the lower back, impression of a weight stuck on her back that prevents her from moving properly, pain in her left foot, very frequent nightmares in which she sees herself desperately looking for something and cannot find it, stomach pains that have forced her to consult a specialist in Harley Street, London. The street is world famous because the best specialists and instruments are located in his long and rich street. Who prescribed her Gaviscon, telling her that gases are the reasons for this threats. This treatment has no effect. She had to work at home and felt sadness. Ruqya, another Ruqya, with the reading of half of the Ruqya al-Baqarah. And the pains stopped. I put my little megaphone on her ovary, which triggered moans and head movements. Moans, and of course, these are those of the jinn. From this confrontation, it turns out that the jinn came from the country of SOM, that he is a Muslim, that he came on his own, and that he wants to live. He spoke for 30 seconds in the language of some. I ordered him out by hitting him twice in the middle of his back. Some, SOM, opened her eyes again. She only felt the second blow. She felt tingling in her feet and hands. Her belly swelled, which I observed first, and she gave me the reason of her call for this ruqya because she had the feeling that something entered her private part which invaded her whole body, but doesn't know if it has happened during the sleep or just before. To clarify that, the jinn used this border between walking and sleeping to influence humans either through possessions or nightmares. Just before the end of the ruqya, she felt air coming out suddenly and with pain from her two intimate orifices, as well as nosy belch. She walked back and forth and declared herself completely recovered. Her husband, to whom I had given him the ruqya of the evil eye, is very happy to have resumed his activities. 8 years have passed and everything is back in order. Praise to Allah, whom good things come. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.